Hi, it's happy Thursday, spring equinox. And spring equinox is when we have an equal amount of night and day. And spring equinox is a time to leave the old behind and make room for new energies to enter into your life. So, what does that mean for you? What can that mean for you? So, what old energies are we clinging onto in our lives that don't serve us anymore? So, you could look at yourself personally in terms of the way you respond, the way you think about things. You could look around your home at the things that you have in your home that are just kind of there but aren't really you anymore. That take up unnecessary space. I mean, how many people have storage lockers with stuff in? It's We did, but that was only because we had paperwork from a business that we had to hold on to, and we moved into a townhouse with no basement, so I really had to rent a storage locker. And then when I was able to get rid of it, um, that was a good thing. So I'm happy not to have that anymore. We are also fortunate that we've moved so many times, and that every move, and I think there's been 11 moves, every move was an opportunity to look at everything and go, I'm not packing that up and taking that cross country. I'm not taking that. We don't need that. We don't use that. And so take that, we don't need that, we don't use that, and apply that to yourself personally. Okay? So, what don't you need that you're carrying around with you? Um, how do you judge yourself? What ideas do you have about yourself that aren't true, that you don't even need anymore because someone else has told you that's who you are? And goodness gracious, we don't have to be anything we aren't, don't want to be. And it's so easy to hold on to, as a child I was taught, you're so clumsy, you trip over a threepenny bit was what my grandma would say. And so that became my story. That became, and it becomes a family story too, which is interesting. And so sometimes I do stuff and I can hear my mother's voice in my head, and she'd be like, "Oh, Linda," in that tone. "Oh, Linda." Um, Always very loving, but still that kind of, "Oh, you did it again," kind of thought. And we all have those things. And I'm sure I have done and do that with my children as well. But the best thing I heard from a son was, "I don't blame you for anything, and I thank you for everything. I give you credit for everything." Something like that. Warmed my heart. So, in the spring equinox, what do you want to leave behind that you carried around as if it were your legacy, when in actual fact it isn't? It's your legacy is the essence of who you are. It's the person that lights people's worlds up with a look or a touch or a smile or a good joke or a nice story or a reminder of how special they are. That's the essence of who you be. And the rest is basically just a story, right? A story you've been told that you tell yourself over and over again. So here we are with the balanced energies, leaving behind the old, creating space. Now, you can create the space or you can just ignore it and fill it up with more stuff. Do you really want to do that? And what if you took that into the world? I am kind of meandering, forgive me. It's, I just meditated before I did this, so what if you took that out in the world? That idea that we're leaving something. We have the ability to leave something behind. the energies are supporting that right now in a big way. The Schumann resonance is really doing an odd thing. And the Schumann resonance is the magnetics, is measuring the magnetics on the planet that's affected by solar flares, all sorts of different things by the people living on it. And I find it interesting because I sleep on a grounding mat, and there were a couple of nights I had to unplug it because when I first got the grounding mat, I could feel the energy right away, in a good way, a really good way. But a couple of nights last week, I just had to unplug it. I couldn't. My body was not at ease with whatever was going on in the ground where I am at this moment in time. So I was like, oh, I need to unplug myself and just sleep, which is what I do. So all of these things are impacting our physical beings and our emotional state and our mental state, because there's a lot of noise out there, and there's a lot of impact on your body as well, as you're trying to integrate new energies coming in, as you are trying to filter out the noise and figure out what is conducive to you, what is meaningful for you, what you need to pay attention, what you need to shut off and say, I'm not paying attention to that today. And it's interesting, I've been kind of musing upon that recently. But today is about the equinox. So let's pull some cards for you, ultimately for me too. And take it just a little bit from these cards called the Soul Lessons and Soul Purpose. So I really noticed with these cards that there's a really broad perspective, and I like that kind of higher broad perspective. And sometimes when I'm reading it, will kind of go down a little bit into something more human, I guess you could say. And it all depends, of course, on me and the state of mind I'm in as I'm doing this. And I did meditate, so hopefully this will be a good one for everyone. Okay, so I'm just going to pick some cards, put them down. 3, 4, yeah, 5 cards. I picked 5 cards. So the first card I picked, let's see what it's got to say. Build on solid ground. Build on. I have difficulty. Build on solid ground. So you see a tree, and I do believe that was picked the other day. So that tells me it's really important right now that we individually and collectively build on a solid ground. And that means being very sure of your values, very sure of what is right and wrong for you, and making sure that you lay the groundwork for you and your family in terms of the environment you're living in, so it's calm and soothing and nurturing. And that includes hearing the foods that you're ingesting, the foods that you're nurturing yourself with. That includes the music that you listen to, the media that you ingest. And that's, yeah, thank you. Because they're reminding me that I've not been so great with that recently. And also laying the groundwork. Okay, guys, come on. Laying the groundwork for yourself environmentally, which includes, right, what you're ingesting, the environment that you're living in, the things that you're exposing yourself to. And also, I'm hearing, extremely important to get out in nature. So nature is one place that does not judge. The tree will never look at you and say, oh, you're not looking great today. The tree will never say, anything negative to you. The tree will, if you could hear the tree talk, the tree would say, come over here. Yeah, closer, closer. Okay. Now put your hands on me. No, my phone's ringing and I'm going to ignore that. Put your hands on me and feel the energy I have to offer you. And that energy is palatable to some and not so much to others, and that's okay. You just have to trust. Yeah, the phone stopped ringing. You just have to trust that it's there. So I'll tell you a little story about trees. And we were driving, my husband and I were driving down, we were in California and we'd been driving down the coast, and then we were crossing through the redwoods. We were in the redwoods. And I was just, I guess, a very meditative space. It was summer, so you could smell that beautiful forest. Um, just the amazing smell of the sun on those forest trees. It's a smell I absolutely adore. It's a sweet scent to it, and the windows were down, and I was, because we weren't going fast, and I was just enjoying the whole thing. My husband was driving with his mind on the road because it's really windy, and then I heard, to my surprise, "Hi, Linda," and I'm like, "Huh?" So in my mind, I go, "Hello, how do you know my name?" And I said, and I knew it was a collective voice. They said, "Because we communicate with each other, and we know that you speak with the trees and walk in the trees and where you live." That was a sense, and that was just this kind of download, and it was an appreciation from them to me. Appreciation for the noticing. So know that when you pay attention to nature, it's appreciated. It also locks, as locks, anchors, anchors nature um, onto our planet more with the appreciation. So take the time to, as I'm looking out the window right now. There's a big sequoia tree out there, and two of them actually, and I'm really appreciative of them. Always have been. When I used to smoke, I used to sit on the base of one of them and sit and smoke. Probably my saving grace that I was sitting on the ground. Anyway, I don't smoke anymore. So, okay, enough with that. Laying the groundwork. The next card. Make no judgments. Very hard to do sometimes. Hard to, even hard when you say, well, I'm just observing, but really you're making a judgment. So judgment is something, usually judgments feel yucky. You're looking and you have a negative opinion about something, and you can say, oh, I'm observing, but are you really? That's something I catch myself on. Are you just observing, Linda? Or have you got a judgment around that? And it's just a noticing. So there's nothing wrong about that. It's just we're human beings doing our very best. And so to pay attention and to observe yourself as you're walking around in your day, as you're reading posts on Facebook, as you're talking to people about something. Everyone's got a different opinion about stuff. And so just to notice your reactions and your responses, and just be honest with yourself, and don't judge yourself over it. Just notice, and then do better. Do better. That's all we can do, right? Do better. Okay, next card. Accept what is. Geez, so these are reoccurring themes right now. Accept what is. Can't change what is. I mean, I can change this right now by saying something different or by shutting my laptop. But this card is about accept what is. Accept the life that you're in. accept the family that you have, accept the home that you live in, accept the country you live in, accept what is out there right now, accept what it is, because it's easier to make better choices from acceptance. Because when you're railing against the world, when you're judging and not observing, that energy doesn't give you an opportunity to find any solutions, any it doesn't give you an opportunity to find a different response to something. It doesn't give you an opportunity to have a question answered, because you're so involved in what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. And rather than just looking and going, oh, okay, that's interesting. So I'm just being reminded of, we bought and how easy it was. I bought, I don't know, 4 months ago, a new shower head with a hose for my husband's bathroom. And the new shower heads, as Trump said, are really low flow. And this one was really low flow, and probably because it had the hose on it as well. And it's not a shower I use, so I don't really think about it much. And I've never really I've never showered in it. But my husband mentioned a couple of times. Now, he mentioned and nothing gets done about it. And then I was cleaning the bathroom and using the shower head to wash the shower down, the fiberglass shower down. And I thought, my God, this is horrible. And then I the recall hearing my contractor handyman say, you can pull the water flow. You can take the water flow out of those shower heads. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. So I went on YouTube, and YouTube's wonderful. I found a video of a guy, and he goes, well, this is what you do. You unscrew it, and there it is, and you pull it out. So I'm like, okay, well, I need some needle nose pliers. We don't have any. So I go 2 doors down, and I say to John, who's about, he's a Yorkshireman, so he reminds me of my dad in many ways. And and I say, John, do you have some neat? Because he's got all sorts of tools. He works on his cars all the time. And he's very handy. I said, do you have needle nose pliers? And he said, sure. So he says, what are you doing? And so I show him, and he says, oh, let me have a try. And it's not really working. Can't really get a good grip on it. So then I said, well, John, that's okay. I'll just take, if I can borrow these, I'll take it home and I'll just keep fiddling at it. And he said, oh, I got another idea. And I go, well, what's that? And he said, well, I'll drill it out. And I said, well, won't it drop in? And he said, no, I'll drill it upside down. And I go, well, thinking to myself, I'm not doing that. You can do that. And he did. And within seconds, the water flow valve was out of the shower head. Fast forward, I screwed it back on. It was easy peasy, screwed it back on, and a flow was magnificent. And my husband was extremely happy about it. So just because things are one way doesn't mean they have to stay that way. And because I wasn't in a space of, oh, this shower head is awful, not getting any pressure, like I just was like, it was just been musing upon it. And then in that quiet space, that space of not being attached to anything, I had a memory. And then I went to YouTube, and then I asked my neighbors. So many things just fell into place. And that's how it works. If you allow yourself the space, again, we're being given this opportunity right now in the spring equinox, space to let go of the old way of thinking, the old way of doing things, the old way of fixing things. I mean, I might have gone and got a new shower head. Now I don't have to. Letting go of the old in order to create space for something else to manifest, to appear in your world. So there's a concrete example of it, because I was not in an uproar about it. I wasn't railing about it. It was kind of like, oh, well, maybe I can do it. Maybe I can't. I'll give it a shot. And that's when the miracles happen, right? Those when the miracles happen. Another story. My husband went to use a printer, and I'd been looking for these special dishcloths that are fiber. I don't know, anyway. They're pretty, they're fiber, they decompose, what have you. And and I bought some to give to a friend. So they're 4 packs. So I gave 2 to my daughter-in-law, and I put the package on the printer to copy the instructions for them. And then I forgot they were there, and she went home with hers, and she's using them and likes them. And I'm giving the other 2. I was going to give my other 2, and then I had no idea where they were. Like, where are they? And I'm seeing my friend on Monday. Where are they? So then my husband goes, I can hear him go, hear him with the printer, and then I hear him go, oh, what's this? And I'm like, what are you going on about? Well, what he was going on about was the 2 dishcloths or dish rags, whatever you want to call them, were in the printer. Easy peasy. I didn't put a lot of effort into looking for them, and there they came. So there you go. Okay, 2 stories. Just be at ease in your life. Find a way to create some space in order to have solutions come in. Okay. Grieve your losses. Again, grieve your losses. So there's a lot going on right now. And I see it's happening personally for a lot of different people as people are exiting, family members are exiting the planet. And we all have, I think, different spots in our life where we can choose to exit or not. It's not a conscious thing, folks. I'm not saying that. It's not a conscious thing at all. But they're there. And some of you may think, oh, I remember when this almost happened and I would have been dead, but it didn't. And it didn't because it wasn't your time, right? But it was an exit point that you could have taken, not consciously, okay? Be clear, not consciously. So there are a lot of people, and I'm seeing it, family members that are exiting, and there are a lot of people around the world. So they're like, okay, I'm off planet. I've had enough of this for now, right? I've had enough of this. I signed on, and now I've done all I can do, and and I don't need to be here anymore to do anymore. It's time to move forward into something different. Believe it, don't believe it, doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But when people do that in your family, then you're grieving the loss of them naturally. Naturally, you're grieving the loss of the physicality of them, the ability to hug them, to hear them, to call them on the phone, to hear them laugh, to hear them talk to you. So the other thing is grieving the way that you think society should be, would have been, should be, in your mind, should be, but we're going through massive, massive changes right now because society has not been working in best for everyone. So if you think it's good, it's only because it's been working good for you, and it's not been sustaining our environment in a way that's best for our environment. It's not been sustaining those that are vulnerable. It's not been sustaining the animal world. There's so many aspects to it. So there's big changes going on in government, where government is maybe, a lot of people say government's too big, and in many ways it is. Um, Corporations are having to change their business practices, change how they respond to what's going on in the world. So it's really interesting. So you're looking out there, and there can be a sense of grief. It can be like, really? Really? I've come, I've lived this long. I've lived this short time. No one said it was going to be like, I remember thinking, no one told, really? I signed up for this? And I hear, yeah, you did. You did because you thought it was an exciting time. And it can be exciting if you look at it as it is what it is, accept what it is, make no judgments. I'm looking at the cards as I'm doing this. and if you build on solid ground. That's kind of it, really. That's the basics. So it's okay to be sad right now. It surely is okay to be sad. No judging yourself on that. Allow yourself the sadness. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to grieve for what might have been or what you have lost. But know that there is a brighter future in the works for everyone. And that brighter future might be, subconsciously, unconsciously. Your soul goes, had enough, I'm gone, and and that's okay. Kind of sad for the people you've left behind, but it's okay because we get another shot at the game. So, last card, have faith. Have faith that it's all going to be okay. Because a lot of times, okay, they're correcting me. They go, most of the time, no, they're correcting me again, all of the time, all of the time, all of the time, all of the time, what you have faith in, what you trust in, will anchor into the planet. Anchor into the planet. So have faith and trust that this process, like birth, like the massive protests that have happened, in the 60s for Black lives, for women's, or for that, for voting rights and for um, equality. I mean, think about it. In 1970, women couldn't even get their own credit card. I mean, 1970s, my age doesn't seem that long ago, um, but it's not that long ago. So there are a lot of changes going on now into the next phase, the next evolution of our planet. And of course, there are, I hesitate to say this word, but they're saying it, forces, and I'm hearing that we put in place, not we, okay, they're saying we collectively as a population on, okay, forgive me, population on planet Earth, um, to butt up against so that we can decide once and for all what is important, what is truth, what is the true essence of humanity. What are we meant to be as a being, um, beyond just our personal self, but as we are part of the collective, as we are all interconnected on this planet, and everything that we're doing ripples out. So have faith that these are important times, and your being on the planet is an important thing. And thank you for being on planet with me and all of us at this time. Know that it is important that you are here. Know that you're adding to the unfolding. So, as shitty as it looks right now, can I say that on video? As horrible as it looks right now in some parts of the world, I mean, we're relatively fortunate where we live. Then know that we're placed where we're meant to be at this moment in time and this moment in your life, which is a little side note. I'm here back in BC in South Surrey, White Rock. Call it the peninsula. It's the easiest way to describe it, the peninsula. And truly, um, I'll visit off the peninsula, but I stay on the peninsula a lot. And I've often thought there's something about this where I'm meant to be here, that truly I'm meant to be here. I went over the island to look, and the energy wasn't matching with me. I'm like, oh, Nice place to visit and holiday for me, but I couldn't, the energies weren't matching for me to live there. So I've had this conversation with my son who wants us to move up to Squamish. And I'm like, oh, I can't, I like it. I don't want to be there full time. So that's me. And your experience will be different because you're you. And maybe you're the you that travels around and plops themselves somewhere and adds their energy someplace for a year or two and then moves on to someplace else. Who knows what the plan is? I don't know what the plan is. I have faith, I have to trust. So on that note, have faith and trust that you are in the perfect spot right now in this second that you're listening to this, and that it is all going to turn out okay. Trust in that, because your trust in that will underline everything you do, will change how you respond or react. You'll stop reacting to a lot of stuff and just respond. You will bite your tongue more often. Just trust. If you trust more, then it underpins everything. And then everything you do from that place of trust is saying to the universe, is saying, hey, I trust that it's all going to be the way it's meant to be. For me, in my life, in my community, on this planet. And I don't know the details. I don't know what that looks like. Obviously, right now it looks kind of crappy out there down to the south of us. But I don't know. I don't know what it's all about, but it's playing out. And I trust that the end result is going to be amazing. Just like you are amazing, and I am amazing. And those trees out there are amazing. So, to you amazing, beautiful freaking beings out there, I'm sending you so many blessings for ease in your life so that you can trust yourself and trust the energies and create the space for the new to come in. And you can't create the space if you're butting up against those energies and going but, it's not fair. Trust the energies and you will be just fine. Okay, I'm going to cut it off right here. Enjoy your day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whenever you see this. Sending you big hugs. Bye. Linda out.